What's going on, Reds? Welcome back to another episode of Liverpool Latest. I'm your host, Matt. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode. If you enjoy the video, please leave a like and comment your thoughts down below. I always like to read them when I have the opportunity. And most importantly, hit the subscribe button so that you never miss an upload because we do that basically every single day here on the channel. It helps me, it helps FanArch, and it helps grow the brand that we are trying to create together. First and foremost, I did some reading this morning, and essentially what I read was pretty much I've already talked about and confirmed, but it seems like journalists are now confirming it more, which means that what was potentially a rumor is now slowly but surely becoming fact, and that is that Yan Diomande is in fact being targeted by Liverpool in terms of trying to sign him from RB Leipzig. And frankly, this is kind of a no-brainer to me. I mean, why wouldn't you sign him? Again, he's got potential upside. He's 19 something years old. Exactly what we're looking for in the current he's exactly what we're looking for in the current state of Liverpool that Arne Slot is currently trying to create. He's also got great pace, dribbling ability, and of course, final third attacking instincts. So it's a no-brainer that we should be keeping an eye on him. Now it seems like journalists are now picking up on the fact that we are keeping an eye on him. So that is a good thing in itself. And of course, we're never the only ones keeping track. Bayern Munich, Manchester City, and United are all also doing the exact same thing. Although it seems like, according to some reports, Bayern Munich are kind of cooling off on the whole idea of signing him because, one, they already view Luis Diaz, Lucho, former Red, as a first choice left wing option. Which, by the way, side note, I've heard that Luis Diaz has been doing a very good job in Bayern. So, congratulations to him. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm the biggest Lucho fan because I do think he had his problems, but when he was on, he was on. And the fact that he's having this much success after leaving Liverpool, congratulations to him. I question why he was sold a lot. I get why Darwin Nunez left. That should go without saying. But Luis Diaz was a little bit of a shock for me. So, basically speaking, the big thing I want to talk about here is the price tag that is going to become attached to Diomande. Seems like they've set a firm asking price, and get ready for these numbers because it's going to be a little bit confusing if you're like me and you don't know European currency. 100 million euros is what Leipzig is asking for Diomande, which, if you're converting that to the British pound, is about 87 million pounds. And if you convert that to the current state of the US dollar, which is an absolute shit show, that would be 118,559,685 So every time I say, $800 million or not, well, not 800 million, you know what I mean. 100 million, 50 million. I'm just going to use pounds and euros from now on because I kind of view it all as the same currency sometimes. And I didn't realize just how much the US dollar is in an absolute state of woe right now those numbers are clearly not adding up. So I'm going to do a better job using the actual price tag and the currency that the teams are actually using going forward. So, again, I'm not telling you news that I haven't already talked about or you don't already know. So I don't think I have to dive too much into this more. That said, I do think it was interesting to bring up because clearly the more I see it reported, the more I believe that Liverpool is going to make a move for him in the future. We'll just have to see if they actually go about doing it. So I would hope that they're not going to walk away because, again, I think he fits the mold that they're looking for right now. And, of course, huge upside as far as I'm concerned. Because if he's already making moves at such a young age now, imagine what he can do in a red shirt. That's all I have to say about that. Some things I noticed during the FA Cup match against Brighton were a little bit. I don't know if any of you guys noticed it. I saw a report talking about some of the big moments of that game, and one of those things that was mentioned was the Calvin Ramsey substitution, which happened in the 89th minute. Now, earlier that week, which was last week, by the way, I talked about how Calvin Ramsey is not viewed as a second, third, fourth, hell, even fifth choice, practically, amongst Liverpool. Slot has essentially said, I don't want to use him. I don't see why I should need to use him when I have all these other players who can play the same position, as opposed to someone that plays it naturally, which is also very strange, in my opinion. Let's also not forget that up until about 3 years, a few months ago, Calvin Ramsey hadn't played a game for Liverpool in 3 years. So what does that say about how Klopp viewed him as well? And maybe he was hurt. Maybe, again, he wasn't a first, second, or third option. So this guy has kind of just been sitting in the back, on the bench, watching everything that's going down. And it seems like some ironic cheers were delivered from the crowd due to the ongoing debate over his lack of playing time, which, again, I spoke about that same week. So it just so happened seeing him go onto the field for a substitution, even I was like, holy shit, Calvin Ramsey's playing a game? Now, granted, he didn't play very long. It was about maybe 10 minutes, but still a very, very, at least heartwarming from my perspective thing to see, considering just how much discussion he has been a part of recent weeks. But Ramsey was playing the right wing, not the right back position, as Joe Gomez already remained deeper in the defensive side, I think he was already substituted earlier in the match. So clearly they're not going to replace somebody that was already playing that position. So Ramsey playing something that he doesn't, I don't think, typically play. Again, I haven't seen the guy play much. So assuming that right back is his natural position, sucks that he didn't get that position. But he also played, he just played a game in general. So us as fans could not necessarily be too disappointed at this moment in time. Rio Nugamoha. Now, before I continue on this topic, I want to remind you, I watched the game, the whole match. I did not listen to the commentary because I was in the middle of work. Those of you that don't know, I work in radio. So my job involves me listening so that I can press the buttons necessary to go to commercial. So I could not listen to the match itself. I did watch it, and it seems like Rio, and I know this because I saw it. Oh, actually, I didn't see it initially, but I saw the replays of it. Rio had a late goal ruled out for being offside. As I did a little bit more digging in regards to this ordeal, because again, I wasn't listening, so I didn't know exactly what was going on, there was no VAR operation during that goal. So they did not go back and look to see if Rio was even offside or not. They just kind of ruled it on the field as offside, and that was that. The referee's decision stood. Replays suggest, however, surprisingly enough, that he may have been onside during the goal. So it shows two things. One, continues to show the composure that he has in the front despite his age. Which, again, it was a very good goal if it had stood. Like, he shot it from a pretty good distance away. What I don't understand is why VAR didn't look at it. Now, maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm spoiled when it comes to American sports, but typically in any sort of big moment game in the game or scoring situation, it is more or less always going to be reviewed by some form of instant replay to make sure that, for instance, someone wasn't out of bounds, or if it's American football, the ball crossed into the end zone. Or if it's baseball, that they have now that they have instant replay in baseball, they really have to see if he got to the bag before the ball touched him from the basement. A lot of factors go into this. Oh, let's not forget what is goalie interference when it comes to hockey, which nobody knows. So the point I'm trying to make is any sort of moment like that is automatically going to be replayed for the sake of, is this goal going to stand and is the integrity of the sport going to be upheld as a result of it? Sometimes not, sometimes yes, depending on what side of the fence you are on. What I don't understand is why VAR was not in operation for this goal, because in a modern era of sports where instant replay should be something that is considered for any sort of scoring opportunity, I question why, in this instance, Rio's goal did not stand. And is it because the powers that be are corrupt? Some of which on social media will probably agree with that statement. Do I think the referees are incompetent? Also, yes. So, I'm going to chalk it up to a bit of both, frankly. So, if you ask me, Rio's goal probably could have stood if they actually went out of their way to review it. But granted, it was probably so late in the match that nobody gave a fuck anyway, and they were like, yeah, I just want to go home. So, apparently, no one wants to do their jobs. Which is funny because when I do broadcasting for basketball games, well, not me commentating, but when I do the board opping for it, referees will review the dumbest of things according to what I'm listening to on air. And meanwhile, VAR can't possibly review a possible onside goal. So that is all I have to say about that. Big news in the FA Cup world. This is a very big FA Cup focused game today. Or video, I should say. Our next match in the FA Cup is confirmed for March 7th, which is a Saturday, against Wolves. Now, I asked myself, how the fuck are Wolves even this far deep into the FA Cup in the first place when they are in a relegation battle in the Premier League? Then I remember they're also facing lesser teams from other lesser leagues within the hierarchy of British football. So it makes sense why they would probably beat out those teams if they've played them. When it comes to us, however, I'm not saying I'm putting the cart before the horse, but, I wouldn't be necessarily surprised if Liverpool kicked the shit out of them in this match. And if we lose, Arne Slot should be sacked that same day. And I think that goes without saying, because how the fuck are you going to let a bottom place team, which has no hope of getting any sort of opportunity out of the relegation, they're going to be moving down next season, that's without a shadow of a doubt. If you let this team beat you in a game and a, tournament or competition that you basically have to win to secure your own job, or at least in hopes of securing your own job, Arne Slot would be stupid not to have the absolute best possible, granted of any injuries, lineup to smash these guys, because on paper, this should be a massacre. That's all I have to say. This should be a massacre. And if it's a loss, sack him. If this isn't the fucking game that gets Arne Slot sacked if we lose, I have absolutely no hope that this club is going to make the right decision in regards to Slot for the foreseeable future until the very end of any sort of football of the season. So, that is my Liverpool latest today. Thanks for joining me. Leave a like on the video, comment your thoughts down below. I would certainly love to hear them. And most importantly, subscribe, because why would you ever want to miss content like this on a near daily basis? Because remember, when you join the Liverpool Latest family, you, my friend, will never walk alone.